Here is the answer that loses you marks. 1984 predicted the future. Orwell saw the cameras coming. He saw the screens. He was the prophet. Stop there. And you have said almost nothing. Because Orwell was not predicting the future, he was warning you about how power actually works. Now, on the streets, on the mind, on truth, on memory, on language itself, get that one distinction right and the whole novel opens. Here is what you will walk away with: 6 things. 1. The real thesis, not the prophecy. 2. The world of Oceania and the machinery that runs it. 3. How a novel with almost no plot is actually built. 4. The themes that earns you mark. And 5. The concepts and quotations examiners keep testing. 6. The questions and the exact sentences that score. A quick word on who is talking to you. If you are new here, I am Dr. Vishwanath Bite and I have taught and examined English literature for over 20 years now. And I have marked the scripts where good students throw away easy marks. This is one of those texts where that happens the most. Let us set the ground. Published in 1949, Orwell wrote it just after the World War, watching new kinds of tyranny rise. He was not describing one country, he was describing a method. A dystopia is simply a perfected nightmare dressed up as an order. That is the world of Oceania, ruled by the party, watched over by Big Brother. Its ideology has a name, you should write it down: INCSOC, English Socialism. And the land they called Airstrip 1 was once Britain. Now, the story told for a meaning, not for the plot. Meet Winston Smith. He works at a Ministry of Truth, and his job is a small horror. He rewrites the past every day to match whatever the party says today. A photograph, a date, a name, edited, erased, replaced, and here is a line to remember: who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Winston starts to crack. He buys a diary and writes one forbidden line: down with Big Brother. That is thought criticism, and it is the beginning of the end. He falls in love with Julia. Love here is not romance, it is a rebellion, a private feeling in a world that allows nothing private. Then comes O'Brien, a powerful man who seems to offer Winston a way out. Do not read O'Brien as a simple villain. He is cleverer and colder than that. And then the trap closes. Arrest. The Ministry of Love, Torture, and a room. Room 101, where they keep your worst fears. I will not soften the ending because your exam will not. The party does not just defeat Winston, it rebuilds him. He betrays Julia. He surrenders his mind. The last line of the novel is 4 words: he loved Big Brother. Hold one question in your head. What did the party actually want from him? That is the whole novel in one question. We will answer it. Now, the part examiners actually test. If you carry one section into your answer, carry this one. And if this channel is new to you, subscribe, because this is what every video here does. People say 1984 has no real plot. Let us test that. Read it as 3 moments. Part 1, control. Part 2, rebellion. Part 3, destruction. That is architecture. Simple, brutal, deliberate. So, how does Orwell build it? Watch 3 tools first. First, the diary. It lets us hear Winston think, the way a soliloquy works on a stage. Private thought, made visible, in a word that has banned it. Second, the images. Notice them? The telescreen that watches back, the glass paperweight, a tiny, fragile word he cannot keep, the rats waiting. Third, and this is the one most students miss, the novel does not end with Winston, it ends with an appendix, a short essay on the principles of newspeak. Keep that in your pocket. We come back to it and it changes everything. Now, the themes. There are 6 worth your time. Theme 1, power for its own sake. Why does the party rule? For wealth? For safety? For the greater good? No. O'Brien says it plainly. Power is not a means, it is an end. Many critics read this as the novel's real thesis. Write this. The party seeks power not to build a better world, but to hold power forever. Theme 2, control of a memory. If the past can be edited, what is left to stand on? Winston's whole job is the proof, then a photograph that vanishes, the record that is quietly rewritten. A critical idea controls memory, and you control reality itself. For your answer, in Oceania, history is not remembered, it is manufactured. Theme 3, language as a case. There is the deepest layer and the highest scoring. Newspeak shrinks the language on purpose. Fewer words, fewer thoughts, remove the word for freedom, and the freedom becomes unthinkable. From this comes doublethink, holding 2 opposite beliefs at once and accepting both. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. These are the exam sentences. Control the language and you do not need to ban rebellion. You make it impossible to imagine. Theme 4, surveillance and the death of the private self. The telescreen sees and hears. The thought police wait. Even child might report a parent. Notice the effect? When you are always watched, you begin to watch yourself. The critical point, the deepest control is the one you enforce on your own mind. Theme 5, truth against manufactured reality. The partest, boldest claim, 2 plus 2 makes 5. And Winston's quiet resistance. Freedom is the freedom to say that 2 plus 2 makes 4. That single sum is the whole flight. Who gets to decide what is true? Put it plainly, in 1984, truth is not discovered, it is dictated. Theme 6, love and the body as the last free country. The party wants even desire under its command. Winston and Julia's affair is small, human, and doomed. And that's the point. The critical idea, their bodies are the last place the party has not yet reached, until it does. Before the question, one honest line for you. Everything I am teaching, you can take further for free. More than 40 solved UGC NET papers, free on vishwanathbite.com. Now, the exam block. 9 questions, answer first and then the reason it scores. Question 1. What does INSOC stand for? English socialism? Everyone writes the party. The mark is naming the ideology and placing it in A strip 1. Question 2. Who wrote the forbidden book inside the novel and what it is called? Immanuel Goldstein. The theory and practice of oligarchical collectivism. Most students write Goldstein's book. Give the full title and you separate yourself instantly. Question 3, and this one is the real. It came up in June 2013 paper. Where I lacked a political purpose, I wrote lifeless books. Whose admission is this? George Orwell. It is from his essay, Why I Wrote What Scores is Knowing. Orwell tied all his art to political purpose. Question number 4. Also a genuine past questions from June 2019 paper. Which work is reviewed in Orwell's essay, Inside the Whale? Henry Miller's Tropic of Cancer. That is not the 1984 fact. Examiners test Orwell the essays too. So do not forge this prose. Question 5. And this one is difficult. Which thinker's book shaped Orwell's 3 warnings? Superstates. James Burham. His book, The Managerial Revolution. Everyone can name Oceania, Eurasius, and Eastasia. The credit is in naming the source behind them. Question 6. Define doublethink and say how it differs from ordinary hypocrisy. Doublethink is holding two contradictory beliefs at once and believing both. Here is the difference. A hypocrite hides the contradiction. Double think embraces it on purpose. Question 7. A model answer or memorize. How does newspeak enforce a political control? Say exactly this. Newspeak narrows language until rebellious thought has no words to live in. So the rebellion dies before it is ever spoken. Question 8. Compare 1984 with Huxley's Brave New World. Orwell controls through the pain. Huxley controls through pleasure. One fears the boot. The other fears the drug that makes you love the boot. Say it in one line and you will own the composition. Question number 9. And this is the one even good students still get wrong. The novel does not end after the story. It ends with the appendix on Newspeak. Why does its grammar matter? Because it is written in the past tense. Newspeak of the language of Oceania was many critics including Margaret Atwood and Thomas Pynchon read that tense as a signal. The regime failed. The nightmare ended. Someone in the free future is looking back. Everyone stops at he loved Big Brother. What scores is reading past the last line and into the grammar. So here is the big idea. Lift your eyes off the fact 1984 is often read not as a prophecy but as a study of how power keeps itself alive. It survives by owning three things: your memory, your language, your sense of what is real. And now the two layers. If you are doing CBSE or your BA, hold the story, the characters and the themes. If you are preparing for MA or UGC NET, add theory. Power as an end in itself, language as a thought control. Burnham behind the superstates, same understanding underneath. Different depth on the page. And here is the rebellious turn, and it suits this book. The party wins the story, but Orwell hid the last act of defiance in the grammar of an appendix. No power lasts forever, not even this one. Which means the real resistance in 1984 is simple. It is the refusal to accept the essay, edited, incomplete answer. The refusal is what earns marks. And it also just how you stay awake. Look at the world around you. The way language gets managed, the way facts get quickly revised, the way we are watched, measured, and nudged. You do not need me to name anyone. Orwell already taught you how to notice. One question for the comments. I want a reason from the text. Is the ending hopeless, or does that appendix crack the wall? Give me one line from the book that decides it for you. Next video, Monday, we take on Macbeth, ambition, blood, and the mind, unraveling. And if you have not yet started our Theory Wednesday series, begin with what is literary theory. Structuralism arrives this Wednesday. Subscribe so the next one finds you. This is Dr. Vishwanath Bite, one great text at a time. See you in the next video. Bye.